I was talking to a coworker a few days ago about her husband. She was sharing with me that he loves to do these ultra marathon races, just crazy stuff. I guess 26 miles isn't far enough anymore. He was doing this Wasatch Back race. It's actually 100 miles in the mountains, so it's not hard enough to do 100 miles on the flat terrain. You got to go into the mountains. There was like 29,000 feet of elevation gain, and I think Mount Everest is like you're climbing Mount Everest in 36 hours. But it's an amazing accomplishment to be able to do something like that. But she was telling me about his greatest happiness or joy in doing these races. He said he goes throughout the race, he doesn't wear headphones, he doesn't tune out the world, he kind of tunes into the world. And she was saying, he'll be in the middle of a race or come up on someone that's in some hard shape, that's run out of water or food or whatever. He does whatever he can to help him to continue in the race. And she was telling me about one specific example that I thought had great application to us in our daily lives, and I thought it was an amazing example. This lady, I guess, had fallen on the trail. She was banged up, bruised, bloodied, just pretty well checked out. She was ready to be done. She had told him that she had called her sister. She was coming to get her, and she was going to be done, And so he came up on her, and she's like, "Well, you're really not that far. It might have been only 8 or 10 miles to finish the race." He said, "Let's do it together." And so he kind of gave up his goal of getting to the finish line at a certain time. And he was able to do all of this assistance because he had disciplined himself enough to be stronger mentally and physically than a lot of people that might have entered the race. He was in a position to help. We can't help people unless we have surplus of strength, energy, power given from God, really. And so, he talked about about every half mile or so. She's like, "Oh, you think we're there yet?" He's like, "Yeah, I think we're getting close. Let's just go to the next aid station." And so he spent the rest of the time making sure she finished the race. And so when she finished, she told all of her friends and family that she was done. She was checked out. She didn't have any chance to finish. And then all of a sudden, this stranger comes along and takes the time and effort to pour into her, and she finished because of him. She told all of her friends and family the fact. That is the fact. I would not have finished if it wasn't, how many other runners or contestants, he's getting attacked, passed her by, were more concerned about themselves. Very admirable. I think that's very cool. And does it have applications? She got to the finish line because of his help. He acted, in life in general. If we zoom out and look at just applications to our lives, some people do act like angels. They are helping people get along that have been beat up by life. And in scriptures, it talks about some of these people, and they're referred to as eagles. Sometimes in scriptures, angels are referred to as eagles. And in Isaiah chapter 40, verses 28 through 31, it talks about some of these people. And it says, "Do you not know? Have you not heard? The Lord is the everlasting God, the creator of the ends of the earth. He will not grow tired or weary, and his understanding no one can fathom. He gives strength to the weary and increases the power of the weak. Even youths grow tired and weary, and young men stumble and fall. But those who hope in the Lord will renew their strength and will soar on wings like eagles. and they will run and not grow weary, and they will walk and not faint. So if we're helping others get through their difficulties, we are taking on some of the purpose that even God takes on, his purpose to help us finish the race in a valiant manner, getting through all of our trials and troubles, conquering all of those things and not being conquered. If you are doing that, helping others, you are working on his team. You know, I've talked about a guy that helped me years ago, and it was a very difficult place. It was just a happenstance meeting that God set up. Happenstance to my point of view, but engineered and placed by God, someone that could help. This guy was going through a divorce and was in a tough place, but he had enough strength to share some of that with me and share some of the tools. He was amazing, and he led me, helped me renew my strength. He took me all bloodied and beat up, bandaged me up, helped me. And then during the discussions, I talked to him for months afterward, and through text and email and phone calls. He said, you know, one day you'll have a chance, an opportunity, as you're strengthened through the fire that you've gone through, to share that with somebody else. It'll be your opportunity to strengthen someone else and to do what the Lord would do in your place. So, in other words, to strengthen those around you when you've been strengthened. And there's actually a scripture that talks about that. You know, when the Lord was preparing to leave his mortal ministry behind and leave his apostles, disciples behind, he had kind of an insight on what was happening, and he knew that Satan was going to use that absence for his advantage, and he was going to try to break that connection between the disciples and the Lord. It was a perfect opportunity for Satan. And what did the Lord say? In Luke 22:31 and 32, he said, Simon, Simon, listen, Satan has demanded to have you apostles for himself. He wants to separate you from me, as a farmer separates wheat from husks. And I have prayed for you, that your faith may not fail. And you, when once you have turned again, strengthen your brothers. So he knew what would happen the last few days of his life. Peter, very difficult situation. To save his own skin, denied the Lord 3 times. Who knows how we would react in that situation? Probably the same. But he turned again, and he was strengthened through that. And then it was his job to help the other apostles, disciples, and everyone he came in contact with. What difficult experiences have you had in your life that you could use to talk to people, to strengthen other people? Give them the tools. Share the things that you've overcome, things you've conquered, and how you did it. Share your strengths, your weaknesses, especially to your sons and daughters. Share with them the insights that you have. After the Lord takes you through the fire, it's your job to find people that are beat up, defeated, bloodied by life, unable or unwilling to continue, and help others to get them through the finish line and help them to conquer, not to be conquered.